Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Holotide here, and instead of watching France and Morocco, I decided that I would record a video on Marathon, the extraction genre in general, and its casual problem. Now, before we get into the video, do not think that casual is a derogatory term. Like, casual to me just means like an average person, an average gamer. It doesn't mean like a streamer or YouTuber or full-time content creator. Just an average Joe. And why this genre, even though it is supposed to be niche, fails at keeping that player base at all. I mean, even in Marathon, you think about building out your shell, your implants, a weapon that you love, that you finally got attachments for. You're rocking like a blue or a green shield. You're gonna go do crew fill just because you don't have any friends on. Everybody else is like a dad, they got a job. You load in. You get spawn rushed by a bunch of gold and purple shields, and you're back to nothing, and that's not really a skill issue. That's the entire design of the extraction genre working, like, exactly as intended. But it might also be half the reason why people who tried Marathon this year, or any other extraction game, never really opened it again. I don't want to change Marathon, or the extraction elements, or anything like that. I'm not trying to take away from it. And I've been covering Marathon since before launch, and there's always a fight in the comments about one side saying that losing your loot and the tension and all of that stuff is a reason why they play, and then the other side is upset they got shot in the back from a fully kitted squad 30 seconds into spawning, and they're like, I'm just not going to come back. I don't like it. And both of them are right, and that's the problem, I think. Now make sure, if you enjoy this video, to leave a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I do Marathon and Halo content. I could be your second favorite Marathon YouTuber and your third favorite Halo YouTuber. And I would love to hit 25,000 subs by the end of the year. Alright, now let's look at why this keeps happening. Extraction shooters run on a simple promise. You bring gear in, you either lose it, or you can leave with more. And Bungie has been open about this by design, framing the risk as what makes the loot mean something in the first place. But a player who logs in the first weekend of a season, they build gear advantage fast, especially in Season 2 of Marathon, with all the issues and bugs and things like that. And that advantage compounds every single match after that. By week 2 or 3, a fresh or returning player isn't fighting other fresh players. They're fighting someone with a max loadout who's already run, the maps 50 times. And that's not a fair fight, but it was never really supposed to be one. Something that I enjoy about Halo is that you can learn from your mistakes or just learn from losing. But when a gold-shielded trio spawn rush, a bunch of free kits, the solo player doesn't learn a lesson about positioning. They just watch some of their progress disappear in a firefight that they just had no way to win, really. And then what happens? They close the app. They go play something else. There are Reddit threads and Steam reviews that echo this type of pattern from Marathon's launch. And I think that Bungie knows this. Every season resets the gear to 0, which sounds fair, and something that I personally think that extraction shooters need, but it just means the same climb repeats every 3 months, and whoever grinds the hardest in week 1 just gets to own the lobby by week 2, and it just kind of compounds after that. Again, I'm not saying these are wrong. These are just reasons why I think that people keep leaving or don't come back. And this is a section where I think that people who are veterans to the game or who have a ton of hours to play the game kind of skip past. And that's, if you got, 20, 30, 40 hours a week to play, losing your kit hurts a little bit, but your vault is probably already full, and you can just rebuild it or get it the next round and fill that vault back up. But if you got like 2 to 3 hours a week, losing that kit costs you a week. It's not about difficulty or getting good. I think if you ask a hardcore player why they love extraction shooters, they're going to tell you that it's the tension, the stakes, the fact that nothing is safe. You know, you're just borrowing gear. But if you ask a casual player why they quit, I feel like they're all going to tell you almost the exact same thing. It's just from the other end of the spectrum. The stakes that make the genre exciting for one player make it feel like a punishment for another, and both of them are just describing the same mechanic. And Bungie's felt this pressure. You know, within days of Marathon's launch, they were already doing accessibility patches. They were trying to hit the difficulty curve. Some players pushed back on that immediately, saying that, you know, softening the loop undermines what made the game fun and dangerous in the first place. You can't please both camps with the same dial. Every adjustment that helps a casual player breathe is an adjustment a hardcore player reads as the game going soft, or it's taking away from what makes the genre special in the first place, and Bungie has been trying to thread that needle for months now. And this isn't a marathon-only problem, and the rest of the genre has been trying to fix it. Arc Raiders built something with aggression-based matchmaking. It watches your behavior, you know, who shoots first, how often you engage other players versus the environment, whether you're playing to avoid people or to hunt them. And if you play peacefully, the system slowly starts placing you with other peaceful players. But if you play aggressive, you get sorted in the lobbies that match that energy. It's not a perfect system by any stretch of the imagination. And there are players who try to game that system. And I think that they even track behavior separately for solo and duo and trios, and it's just kind of crazy. But if you compare that to Marathon, where the separation is mostly, I guess, binary, you're in the solo pool, or you're in like a trios pool or duos pool, and within those pools, the gear gap is what does the sorting instead of playstyle. Where Embark is solving the quote-unquote problem with behavior, the other studio is trying to solve it with currency. And that currency doesn't care how you like to play. Now, Marathon was clearly built with a coordinated trio in mind. Communication, roles, someone watching your back while someone else, you know, revives or while you loot. And a solo player doesn't get really any of that. They get one set of eyes, one gun, or two guns, I guess. If your team doesn't have a mic, or nobody's communicating, you're just going to get ran through. You're just a loot bag with legs. Now, there is a dedicated solo queue, so you're not just dropped, you know, solo into a game with a bunch of trios. There's also the C.A.R.R.I protocol, which rewards extracts and cooperative play with its own currency. Duos mode got tested and included and has a permanent launch now, so that's good. And now Vault Breaker is coming, the new PvE mode that exists specifically for players who want the loot loop without, you know, having people hunt them down the entire match. And I know you can't take the loot out of Cryo, but you're going to get currency to get loot outside of it. And that's coming July 21st. But really, they're just like adding all these different systems that are, I guess, being built to answer the same complaint. But I don't know if these are the type of things that are going to help Marathon or continue to hurt it, or if it's just too little too late. But if you look across the genre, if Bungie wants to keep players who tried the game and bounce, or try to get people into the game, the genre is pointing towards different things. Gear-capped matchmaking, an insurance system, a low-stakes practice space, something, you know, like the Crucible from Destiny, just an arena mode for people to learn guns and gunfights. And, you know, they have all these POIs already in the maps where they could just turn those into arena, you know, maps themselves, and people can learn them. And some would argue that these type of things soften the genre's identity. It takes away what makes Marathon special, or the extraction shooter special in the first place. They stop punishing players, but I'm not so sure that's true. I think that Marathon is able to have multiple game systems and playlists inside of it that can allow people to have fun on the game in a variety of ways. The lose-it-all aspect of extraction shooters isn't really the enemy here. It's the reason the genre exists, and I'm not asking Bungie to remove that. What I'm thinking is, can Marathon keep that tension for players who want it while giving everyone else a door, an opportunity that doesn't just slam shut in the first 30 seconds of a match? Right now, that door's only half open. It's going to open a little bit more with Vault Breaker, but there are still aspects that need to change. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you playing solo? Do you use a mic? Are you communicating with people? Did you let the gear gap push you out already? I'm interested to see what people's feedback is regarding this. I know that everybody says, oh, the extraction shooter genre, it's niche, but it's oversaturated. There's so many of them. And to me, it's just like not true, I guess. Like, I feel like if it's a good extraction game, then yeah, but that doesn't seem to be the issue. Like, there's not a ton of great extraction shooters out. There's a lot of half-baked ones. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure Sony and Bungie want this game to succeed, so they're probably going to throw whatever they can at it to see what sticks. You know, what is it? Spaghetti at the wall? But that's it for the video. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like down below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Hype the video up if you're on mobile, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.